Okay, let's take a look at SynthMaster CM, which is a very, very powerful new computer music exclusive synth from KV331 Audio. It's got 2 wave scanning oscillators, each of which has dozens of waveforms. You can scan through 8 different wave shapes with each oscillator. They can have up to 4 voices. There's an arpeggiator, there's ring modulation, phase modulation, frequency modulation, a multi-mode resonant filter, customizable distortion effect. It's also got 3 built-in effects: delay, chorus and reverb, plus 2 LFOs and 4 modulation envelopes in total. So it's a really quite powerful sound design tool. We're only going to really scratch the surface of it in this tutorial, but let's take a look at some of the basic functionality. Okay, so when we start out and we've loaded the synth, we get just a default sine tone. SynthMaster CM uses wave scanning oscillators that not only provide authentic analog style tones, but also more complex waveforms that can be morphed into one another. In the oscillator 1 panel, click the wave shape on the far left and a menu showing the different waveform categories will appear. Select Basic Square from the menu, and the wave shape in the oscillator 1 window will change to a square. Now when you play a note, you'll hear the square waveform. Click the second waveform and this time select Basic Sawtooth. Using SynthMaster CM's wave scanning capability, we can now morph between the square and saw shapes. To do this, drag the index parameter. As you do, you'll see that the waveform display above morphs from a square to a sawtooth as the sound changes. Let's make this happen automatically. Move the index fader back to the left. Now right click it and select Modulation 1 Source, Voice, LFO 2. You'll see now in the modulation matrix on the right hand side of the interface that the first row, the target has been set to OSC1 wave index and the source has set to LFO 2. This modulation reading doesn't have an effect because the amount knob to the right is set to 0, so turn it up to plus 128. So that's our morphing, and we can morph between up to 8 wave shapes. In the oscillator 1 panel, click the third wave shape and set it to FM complex NS002. And in the row below, click on the number 3, and this tells SynthMaster CM we want to morph between the first 3 wave shapes. Before we take a closer look at modulation, let's see what else we can do with the oscillator panel. Click the voices parameter that's currently set to 1 and select 4. More voices gives us a rich sound, but it also boosts the synth's output volume, so you'll need to turn down SynthMaster CM's volume knob near the top left hand corner or add a limiter to stop it from clipping your master channel. Turn up the pan knob below the voices parameter up to full to spread the voices across the stereo panorama. This gives us a lush full stereo sound. Before we go any further, let's take a look at SynthMaster CM's modulation options. Click the Modulation tab in the bottom left hand corner to bring up the modulation generators. Here we have LFO, which is a step-based modulation source, LFO 2, which is a more traditional single cycle LFO, and mod envelope 1 and 2, which are straightforward ADSR envelopes, which are also known as ADSR envelope 3 and 4. Let's change the oscillator 1 index modulation from LFO 2 to mod envelope 1. In the modulation matrix, click where it says LFO 2 and select Voice, ADSR envelope 3, which is mod envelope 1. Now mod envelope 1 controls the movement of oscillator 1's index parameter. Turn the sustain level all the way down and set the decay to its maximum plus 127. Now when you play a note, you'll hear the sound takes a slow one-way journey through the active wave shapes. SynthMaster CM has powerful ring, frequency and phase modulation capabilities. Let's check them out now. In the architecture panel, you see a graphical representation of the synth signal path. Click the block that says None to the left of the one that says OSC1 and select Modulator 1 from the menu. This applies phase modulation to the signal and gives the sound a much rougher quality. Check out the Modulator 1 panel. Turn down the volume control and you'll hear that the phase modulation effect diminishes. Turn it back up to full. Next try sweeping the pitch. This gives us an even more dramatic effect. Return to the architecture panel and this time click the block that says PM to the top left of the OSC1 block and select frequency modulation from the menu. Now we've changed from using phase modulation to frequency modulation, and this gives the sound a whole different tonal quality. The mod block after the oscillator blocks are for ring modulation. Click the block that says None above the filter block and select Modulator 2. Now Modulator 2 will control a ring modulation effect. These kind of effects work well with square waveforms, so click the wave shape in the Modulator 2 panel and select Square from the list of available shapes. Let's take a quick look at the filter. Adjusting the filter cutoff frequency knob won't do anything just yet because the filter envelope parameter is turned all the way up and the filter envelope sustain level is set to full. Turn the amount knob in the filter envelope panel down to its minimum value, and now when you adjust the cutoff you'll hear the effect it has. Another of SynthMaster CM's cool features is the distortion effect. This sits to the right of the filter, and you can use the menu at the top right hand corner of the panel to set the wave shaping function before or after the filter. You can use the pre-gain to boost the volume level of the signal before the wave shaping function, and you can even adjust the wave shaping function yourself using the nodes on the graphical interface. That's all we've got time for at the moment, but yeah, make sure you check back to future issues of CM to find out more about this amazing synth.